This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, it's Stacy from Star Stuff Travel, and I am so excited. Today I have one of my not only good friends, but my favorite destinations that we're going to talk about, and my friend Josh Winston from the National Harbor, Maryland. Hey Josh.
Hey, Stacy, it's so good to hear your voice and so good to talk to you.
I'm so excited to talk to you and connect and be able to just express our love of the National Harbor with the public and let them know how fantastic it is, because I feel like it's kind of like a hidden gem. And, when we do talk
Yeah.
about the National Harbor, people hear the word harbor and they sometimes confuse it with Baltimore Harbor. So can you kind of tell us exactly where National Harbor is?
Sure, I can absolutely do that. And actually, that's a great way to lead in because that's often a point of confusion for travelers when they're coming to National Harbor. And it's confusing because we're actually technically in Maryland, but we're really closer to Washington, D.C. than we are to Baltimore. We're about 45 minutes from Baltimore, so we're very close within driving range. But we are not the inner harbor, which is Baltimore's kind of signature waterfront destination. We are National Harbor. So when you think of it, think of nation's capital, National Harbor. That's a good way to remember it. We're right on the D.C. Maryland line, and we're located directly on the waterfront of the Potomac River, just about 15 minutes drive from downtown Washington, D.C., from Capitol Hill, from the White House, from the National Mall, from all the major attractions. But we really are an open waterfront resort destination of our own, just steps, from the DC line. So it's a great place to visit, and it's right on 95. So if you're coming from New Jersey, driving with the family, it's an easy drive, really in any direction. I mean, we're right across the bridge from Virginia. We're located right at the junction of the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, right off of I-95. So we're very easy to get to in many ways.
And I can attest to that because we actually visit, as you know, once a year from New Jersey. And on a Good Friday, it probably takes about 4 hours to get to you guys, like you said, right off 95. And we are able to make it like a weekend. We can go on a Friday and come home on a Sunday. And I love that you can pretty much park the car at any of the hotels there or any of the destinations there and kind of not get back in the car until you're ready to come home, because everything is right there and walkable.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think that's one of the better qualities about the destination is that it is extremely walkable. It's very open, very airy. We have all kinds of different products that we offer, from large, exciting hotels like our MGM National Harbor, which sits perched on the hill overlooking the waterfront of the destination, to our Gaylord National Resort, which is home to one of the best events of the year, ICE, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we also have smaller boutique hotels like Harborside Hotel, which is right next to our Topgolf and Tanger Outlets. We have our Westin National Harbor and our AC Hotel National Harbor, which are right on the waterfront. And that's a great place to stay if you're looking for sort of a smaller boutique experience, looking to get out and stretch the legs and walk with the family along the Potomac River. It's a great way to see the destination. All of them are fantastic and have very unique offerings. So, absolutely.
They certainly do. And you mentioned my favorite event of all, ICE, which is amazing. And you guys really host some other amazing events. So tell us a little bit about the different seasonal events available to guests that visit National Harbor throughout the year.
Sure. If we're starting from where we are today, so we're in the spring, we have some great things that happen along the waterfront of our destination, which is our cherry blossom trees. One of the hidden facts about National Harbor is that we have over 200 cherry blossoms that bloom before the ones do in downtown DC. These are newer trees that were put in just a few years ago, but the blooms are absolutely spectacular, and definitely worth checking out. And they actually line our waterfront promenade, so that's a great springtime activity. We also are home to some really cool sites that I would encourage people to visit, like our National Colonial Farm, which is just downstream from us, a few miles downstream from us, accessible by, if you're doing a group, it's accessible by charter, from the water taxi from our docks, or it's just a quick drive down the road from the waterfront district. And that is a really fun experience for kids, for families. They have baby lambs that are born there every year, and they do an event called Lattes with Lambs. And that's it's an awesome weekend. They do it like, I think 4 Saturdays in April. And it's a really awesome event that I would definitely encourage folks to look forward to, next year. I think it would be an awesome thing to plan, and it's educational for the kids. It's an open working farm. It's actually one of the first settlements in the state of Maryland. It's directly across from Mount Vernon, which is George Washington's home.
Oh, wow.
And so that's a really cool thing. Gives you the experience of what day-to-day life was like for, the gilded elite on one side of the river and George Washington's estate, and then what life was like for the 99% on the other side of the river, churning butter and, growing tobacco and so forth. So very interesting stories that are told there, and would definitely encourage you to visit. We also have a great historic property called Oxon Hill Manor, which sits across from our fabulous Tanger outlets on top of the hill of National Harbor, and that's adjacent MGM and Tanger, and it's the original landowning estate of all the land of National Harbor, and that has some beautiful English gardens, outdoor areas to walk and stroll through, and has some of the best views of the harbor because of where it sits up high overlooking the Potomac River and the waterfront. So some interesting stuff that isn't necessarily always apparent to the naked eye, but some real hidden gems there.
So it's definitely a destination that you can visit any time of the year and enjoy something that's always going on, for sure, it sounds like.
Always going on. There's always something going on, from the live music and entertainment at Fordham Lounge at Harborside Hotel, which is really one of the kind of coolest, funkiest, most unique properties and bars that we have, to obviously the fabulous shows and entertainment that we have at MGM National Harbor. That's just top notch, second to none. I've seen incredible shows there already, from Cher to Britney Spears to Christina Aguilera. You name it, we've got something for everybody at MGM. So, and some of the best restaurants to boot as well.
Absolutely. I can definitely attest to the restaurant part of it. One of my favorite things about visiting National Harbor and coming to see you guys is the great food. So that brings me to my next question. What is your personal favorite place to eat downtown?
Oh, you're going to get me in trouble.
It's hard, right?
It's hard.
I know.
It's very hard to do. I would only say this, that there's such a variety that it's hard to name just one. But we do have, there are some special faves in there. I mentioned Fordham Lounge at Harborside, which has a phenomenal chef who does a incredible pasta that it's a homemade Italian recipe that Liz Delarado, the owner, actually brought from her mother. So that's a real authentic thing.
Oh, wow.
I'd recommend that. Old Hickory, which is our steakhouse at Gaylord, is one of the best steakhouses in the area, bar none. They have an incredible artisanal cheese service that they do for guests that are dining there. It is not a short event, so it's definitely something that if you're going for a date, if you're going out as adults, definitely not a children's place. But if parents need a break from the kids, this is an excellent choice, and I would highly recommend. Their bar is phenomenal. The cheese service is incredible. Just the entire presentation, start to finish, is really special. At MGM, they have a new Italian restaurant called Osteria Costa, and that is probably got the best lasagna I've ever had anywhere. So it's very difficult to pick just one thing. Bond 45, which is located right in the heart of National Harbor's waterfront district, and the Walrus, which is directly attached to the AC Hotel on the first level of the AC Hotel, is phenomenal seafood. And I'm a seafood snob from New England originally, and their fish and chips is something that rivals the best seafood restaurants in New England. So out of all of them, I would say those are some great picks. Grace's Mandarin is phenomenal if you're looking for high-end Chinese food. That's a great restaurant, and has one of the best views in town, overlooking the water. So you really can't go wrong.
Well, I can tell you from some of the ones that you named, we do have some favorites in common, because we do love the Walrus for the oysters. We had oysters there last time we were there, and we're huge seafood snobs. We're from the Jersey Shore, so we have some of the best, right? We have some of the best seafood here too. So the oysters were phenomenal. But for people watching, we love the Cadillac Ranch. We love to people watch at the Cadillac Ranch with the bull riding.
Good for you. I mean, that's a really great point. And that brings up our Fleet Street, which is where Cadillac Ranch is located. It's kind of like our bar row, and so if you are out and about at National Harbor, particularly in the wintertime, that is where the action is. That's where people are, people watching, as you mentioned, strolling, bull riding, singing songs. We've got a great piano bar next door called Bobby McKee's Dueling Piano Bar, which is a lot of fun, especially if you're there with friends. And I think everybody's going to, really look forward to being with their friends and going out and having a good time there. So, for sure.
100%.
Yep.
100%. So it's really hard to kind of just talk about how awesome the National Harbor is in just a quick interview. But in this last question, why should potential guests visit the National Harbor this year? In your opinion, why would National Harbor be the destination to visit this year?
I think, we are all looking at something that's, unprecedented. And I think National Harbor stands alone as a place that you can go and do your patriotic pilgrimage to the nation's capital. You can go and see all of the sights of Washington, D.C. You can stroll the mall. You can look at the, in awe of the, incredible monuments that we have built to honor the country. And I think there's going to be a real sense of patriotism and, willingness to want to go, visit these sites. And National Harbor is the perfect complement to that, because what it does is it offers visitors a place that they can go and feel relaxed and feel like they're on vacation at a resort, as opposed to sort of what, many people call their classic, 8th grade trip to Washington, where they're, being shuttled to and from monuments, and it's a more dry, historic perspective of the destination, as opposed to a truly entertaining, fine dining, casual dining, family-friendly kind of getaway that National Harbor can be. So you can both be on vacation, you can be a short drive from home, but you can also take in some of the sites that are, things that every American should see.
I love it. That gave me chills, Josh. So for sure, this is definitely going to be one of the places to hit as soon as we can. And what a great time of year. It's going to be warm out. You're on the water, so I
Yeah,
definitely agree. It's definitely going to be the place to be in the upcoming
it
summer
is.
months. So
It is. And as we move past the summer, the warm months, I mean, are just phenomenal there. There's, I mean, you can easily tan yourself walking around National Harbor because it's got so much wide open space and access to places to lounge and soak up the sun. But as the seasons change, we also have incredible events like our ice exhibit at Gaylord, which is outdoors, which is an entire walk-through exhibit that is done up for the holidays. And National Harbor gets decked for the holidays, as you know, because you guys
it
come
sure
usually
does.
at the holiday time. We do fireworks. We do a lighted tree that is the centerpiece of National Harbor right on our Belvedere, so that everybody can walk by and see it. And that goes off with a musical display every hour. And then we also have ice, which is um, six. I have to think of this now. I want to say it's
It's
six.
like
I'm gonna
6 million
six
pounds of
tons,
ice or
tons,
something.
yeah, tons of ice, and it is one of the best displays. They keep the entire area chilled to 9 degrees, and you can walk through with your family, and you can see a display like no other. So, I mean, it is really something worth taking in. Very, very cool, and one of the hallmark signatures of the destination. Every year there's a different theme, from Charlie Brown Christmas to Santa Claus is coming to town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty, I think, was one of my favorites. So absolutely worth taking your family for that.
Absolutely. Such a great destination. And I'd love to just thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to kind of just fill us in and let everybody know why the National Harbor is the uh, must visit destination. And we love you and wish you the best. And just thank you so much for taking that time to chat with us, Josh.
Thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate it. Everybody can learn more at visitnationalharbor.com if they have questions, and they can certainly reach out to our individual retailers like Tanger Outlets or the hotels if they have any questions, for sure.
Awesome, Josh. You have a great day. Thank you so much again.
Thank you so much, Stacy. It was wonderful to talk to you. And